What if time, as you understand it, is nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion? Is it truly a straight line marching from past to future, or could it be a circle, a loop, constantly repeating itself? February 21st. Mark that date, because it might just be the day the loop breaks, or perhaps the day we become aware of its existence. What if everything you believe about your life, your identity, your purpose, your very potential is tied to a fundamental misunderstanding of how time truly works? What if you've been living the same patterns, making the same choices, over and over again, trapped in a cosmic echo chamber? This isn't just an abstract philosophical question. It's a key to unlocking your own power, your own ability to shape your reality. We often perceive time as linear, a one-way street with no U-turns. But what if that's just a limited perspective? What if, instead, time operates in cycles, repeating patterns and interconnected loops? And what if the collapse we're hearing about isn't the end of the world, but the breakdown of an old, outdated structure, like a building imploding to make way for something new? Think of ancient prophecies. Are they fixed predictions chiseled in stone, or are they more like weather maps, showing recurring patterns and potential storms on the horizon? The prophecies we'll explore aren't about specific, unavoidable events. They are symbolic representations of larger cycles, echoes of themes that have played out across cultures and throughout history. And February 21st, it's a focal point, a date where many of these timelines seem to converge, an intersection of possibilities. What happens when those lines cross? That's what we're here to find out. But why should you care? What does the potential collapse of a perceived reality mean for you, personally? Imagine a world where the fundamental assumptions about how everything works are questioned en masse. Would that lead to chaos or a collective awakening? The answer, perhaps, depends on you and how prepared you are for a shift in consciousness. Because knowing about the potential collapse, understanding the patterns, and recognizing the loops can empower you to navigate this shift with awareness and intention. Ignorance, on the other hand, leaves you vulnerable, susceptible to external forces manipulating your perception of reality. This isn't just about abstract knowledge, it's about self-empowerment. Think of the time loop collapse as a chance to break free from limiting beliefs and self-imposed patterns. It's like finally understanding that the walls of your prison were never really there. What if you could overcome your fears, take complete control of your life, and manifest the outcomes you truly desire? What if you were actually the architect of your own reality and not just a passive observer? That's the promise of understanding the true nature of time. To understand this potential shift, we need to lay some groundwork. Let's briefly consider the concept of cyclical time as understood by the Mayans, the Hindus, and other ancient cultures. They didn't see time as a straight line, but as a series of repeating cycles, each with its own distinct characteristics and potential for renewal. Contrast this with our modern, Western view of linear time, always moving forward, never looking back. How might these differing perspectives shape our understanding of reality? And then there's the block universe theory in physics, which proposes that all moments in time past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Imagine time as a giant block where every event is already laid out. Does this mean our choices are predetermined? Are we just acting out a script that's already been written? Or do we have the ability to influence the narrative, to change the course of events within the block? This challenges our conventional understanding of cause and effect and raises profound questions about free will. Have you ever experienced a Mandela effect? Shared false memories, like the spelling of the Berenstain Bears or the exact quote from a famous movie? Are these simply glitches in our minds, or are they evidence of a changing reality, subtle shifts in the fabric of time itself? We're not making any claims here, but it's worth considering these anomalies as potential clues to a deeper mystery. Ultimately, reality might be fractal. Think of a small stream carving its path through a landscape. Zoom out, and a river carves a similar path through the continent. The same pattern at different scales. What if the patterns we see in our personal lives, our repeating relationship dynamics, our recurring financial struggles, are simply smaller versions of larger patterns playing out on a global or even cosmic scale? By understanding these repeating motifs, we can gain insights into the larger cycles at play. So, if time is cyclical, what does that mean for free will? If the future is already written, can we still change our destiny? Why do different cultures, separated by vast distances and time periods, predict similar events around the same time? Are these just coincidences, or is there something more to it? And are Mandela effects evidence of a shifting reality, or simply faulty memories playing tricks on us? Join us as we start to explore these underlying patterns and potential implications, offering you the tools to understand what you might be experiencing. Are we in a time loop simulation? And if so, what can we do about it? So, are we in a time loop simulation? And if so, what can we do about it? Let's delve deeper into the wisdom of the ancients, because prophecies aren't just about predicting the future, they're about understanding cycles. What if February 21st and the days surrounding it are like a cosmic pressure point, a time when these cycles reach a critical mass? To understand what that critical mass might entail, let's explore some specific examples. Consider the Hopi prophecies, which speak of a time of great upheaval and purification, symbolized by the blue star Kachina appearing in the sky before the day of purification. This is not necessarily an astronomical event, but a symbolic one, representing a shift in consciousness, a time when the old ways must give way to the new. The Hopi speak of a time of great division, of the earth turning against humanity because humanity has turned against the earth. This period of turmoil is said to precede the emergence of a new, more harmonious way of life, where humanity lives in balance with nature. Now, pinpointing an exact date is difficult, as Hopi prophecies are often veiled in symbolism, but the recurring themes of purification, division, and renewal resonate strongly with the idea of a time loop collapse, a breakdown of the old to make way for the new. Could February and March represent a period where these themes become particularly pronounced? Then we have Nostradamus, the 16th century French apothecary and seer whose prophecies have fascinated and perplexed people for centuries. While notoriously difficult to interpret, some researchers point to quatrains that seem to align with current events and anxieties, specifically those referencing societal upheaval and natural disasters. One interpretation suggests a period of intense economic instability, potentially triggered by unforeseen events in February or March. While Nostradamus's prophecies are open to endless interpretation, the persistent themes of chaos and transformation provide a compelling parallel to the time loop collapse concept. Are these echoes of past cycles, repeating themselves in our present, or are they warnings, guiding us towards a different path? And let's not forget the Hindu Puranas, ancient texts that describe vast cycles of creation, destruction, and renewal, known as yugas. We are currently said to be in the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, a time of moral and spiritual decline. But the Puranas also speak of the eventual end of the Kali Yuga and the dawn of a new, more enlightened age. This transition is often marked by cataclysmic events, a cleansing fire that sweeps away the old to make way for the new. While the timescale of the yugas is immense, the concept of cyclical time and the recurring pattern of destruction and renewal mirror the time loop collapse we are exploring. Could February and March be a microcosm of this larger cosmic cycle, a period of intensified chaos before a potential shift in consciousness? The prophecies might be maps, not of what will happen, but of what could happen if we continue down a certain path. But are these just symbolic stories, ancient myths with no real bearing on our modern world? Or is there a deeper truth embedded within them, a pattern that repeats itself across cultures and throughout history? To further explore this, let's shift our focus to the science of time, specifically the block universe theory. Imagine all of time past, present, and future existing simultaneously, like a giant block. This is the core idea behind the Block universe theory, a concept in physics that challenges our conventional understanding of linear time. In this model, there is no now that is more real than any other moment. Every event that has ever happened, and every event that ever will happen, already exists within this block. It's like a film reel, where every frame already exists, even before the projector starts rolling. But if all moments exist simultaneously, what does that mean for causality? Does the past determine the future, or is it all just a matter of perspective? If the future already exists, are our choices predetermined, or do we have free will within this pre-existing block? Consider quantum entanglement, where two particles become linked in such a way that they share the same fate, no matter how far apart they are. If you measure the state of one particle, you instantly know the state of the other, even if they are light years away. Some interpretations of quantum entanglement even suggest that it might involve retrocausality, where the effect seems to precede the cause. Could this be evidence of connections between past, present, and future that defy our linear understanding of time? And what about the observer effect, the phenomenon where the act of observing a quantum system changes its behavior? Does this suggest that our perceptions shape reality, that our beliefs about the future can actually influence the present? If so, could this be a key to understanding how we might influence the time loop, how we might break free from repeating patterns and create a different outcome? It's almost as if modern science is catching up to the ancient understanding of cyclical time. The Block universe, with its interconnectedness of all moments, echoes the cyclical nature of time in Hindu and Mayan traditions. Is it possible that these ancient cultures possessed a deep understanding of reality that we are only now beginning to rediscover through science? If our perceptions shape reality, and time is not linear, then the past doesn't necessarily determine the future. This idea challenges the very foundation of how we understand the world to work. If the past doesn't solely determine the future, then what does? Our beliefs, our intentions, our collective consciousness. What if the future is not a fixed point, but a range of possibilities, and our thoughts and actions are constantly shaping which possibility becomes our reality? Now, consider the repeating patterns in your own life, your own personal time loops. Do you always seem to attract the same type of partner, even when you consciously try to choose differently? Do you find yourself facing the same challenges at work, no matter where you go or what you do? Are there recurring emotional states that you just can't seem to shake, patterns of anxiety, depression, or anger that keep coming back, no matter how hard you try to avoid them? These aren't just random occurrences. They're reflections of deeper patterns, echoes of limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors. These patterns often stem from limiting beliefs, deeply ingrained assumptions about yourself and the world that hold you back from reaching your full potential. A fear of failure, for example, can lead to procrastination, self-doubt, and ultimately failure, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or perhaps you believe you're not worthy of love, leading you to subconsciously sabotage relationships or attract partners who confirm that belief. These beliefs act like invisible programs, running in the background of your mind, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and actions. How can you rewrite these programs? The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Keep a journal and write down any recurring patterns you notice. What triggers them? What beliefs seem to be driving them? Meditation can also be a powerful tool for self-awareness, allowing you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Once you've identified these patterns and the underlying beliefs, you can begin to challenge them. Cognitive reframing is a technique that involves consciously changing the way you think about a situation. If you find yourself thinking, "I'm going to fail," challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is that really true? What evidence do I have to support that belief? What evidence contradicts it? This week, I want you to take on a task. Pay attention to your thoughts and behaviors. Whenever you notice a familiar pattern, pause and ask yourself, what belief is driving this? Then, challenge that belief. Question its validity. Look for evidence to the contrary. replace it with a more empowering belief. This is how you disrupt the loop, how you rewrite your personal timeline. But what if these personal time loops are just smaller versions of a larger, more complex system? What if our entire reality is a simulation, a vast computer program running on some unknown supercomputer? It's a mind-bending concept, but one that's worth exploring, because if we are living in a simulation, that could explain a lot about the nature of time and reality. Nick Bostrom's simulation argument, for example, suggests that at least one of the following propositions must be true. Either humans will go extinct before reaching a point where they can create realistic simulations, or if we do reach that point, we won't bother creating such simulations, or we are almost certainly living in a simulation right now. Elon Musk has also famously commented on the topic, stating that the odds we are not living in a simulation are 1 in a billion. But what evidence do we have to support this idea? Think about Mandela effects, those shared false memories that seem to defy explanation. The spelling of Berenstain Bears, the exact quote from Forrest Gump, the location of countries on a map. Are these simply glitches in our minds, or are they evidence of a changing reality, subtle shifts in the code of the simulation? What if these inconsistencies are like error messages, clues that something is not quite right with our perceived reality? What if our thoughts and beliefs are actually influencing the simulation, that the subconscious mind is the programmer of our individual reality? The placebo effect, where a fake treatment can sometimes produce real healing effects, suggests that our beliefs have a powerful influence on our bodies and our experiences. The power of visualization, where vividly imagining a desired outcome can increase the likelihood of it manifesting, further supports this idea. But let's raise the stakes even higher. What if these time loops aren't just random occurrences or glitches in the simulation, but are actually part of the simulation's code, designed to correct errors or recalibrate the system? What if the collapse we're talking about isn't a destruction, but a course correction, a way for the simulation to learn and evolve? This would mean that these challenges aren't punishments, but opportunities for improvement within the simulated reality. This raises a profound question. What if the stability of the simulation itself depends on our ability to learn and grow, to break free from our limiting beliefs and evolve our consciousness? So, where does this leave us? We've journeyed through ancient prophecies, wrestled with the science of time, faced our own personal time loops, and even considered the possibility that we're living in a simulation. We've even asked ourselves if this could all be coming to a head or a start on February 21st. But the most important question we need to answer is, what does it all mean? The core understanding, the revelation we've been building towards, is this. The time loop collapse is not an event to be feared, not a doomsday scenario, but a catalyst, a moment of intense potential for transformation and awakening. It's a breaking down of old paradigms, old ways of thinking and being, to make way for new possibilities, new levels of awareness, and new realities. This shift, this collapse, can empower you, the individual, to take control of your perceptions and shape your reality, to become the conscious creator you were always meant to be. February 21st, then, isn't a date to dread, but a symbolic marker, a cosmic alarm clock reminding us to be present, to question our assumptions, to embrace change, and to recognize our own power. It's time to connect the dots. The subconscious controls the simulation. The patterns we see in our lives mirror the patterns of time itself, and February 21st is the moment to be most keenly aware of it all. The true nature of reality may depend on it. What are the real-world implications of all this for you, for us, for the evolution of our species? Understanding time loops and the possibility of simulated reality changes everything about how we approach life. It encourages a more mindful, intentional, and dare I say, playful approach. It suggests that recognizing the patterns in our lives, the good, the bad, and the ugly, allows us to break free from negative cycles and consciously create positive change, to step into the flow of a more fulfilling and meaningful existence. And what happens when more and more people awaken to these possibilities? It could lead to a more compassionate, collaborative, and sustainable world, a shift from a fear-based consciousness driven by scarcity and competition to a love-based consciousness rooted in abundance and connection. The core is this: even if reality is a simulation, even if we're stuck in a time loop, our choices still matter. Every thought, every action, every intention sends ripples through the fabric of reality, influencing the program in ways we may not even fully understand. We are co-creators, active participants in this grand experiment, and it's time we started acting like it. And that means questioning everything. Don't blindly accept what you're told, whether it's from the news, from authority figures, or even from this very video. Continue to challenge your beliefs and perceptions, to dig deeper, to seek out your own truth. This is especially critical in a world of information overload, where it's becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish between fact and fiction, between genuine insights and manipulative narratives. Question everything to see if what you believe is what is being projected onto you, to see what has been programmed into the simulation of you. Of course, it's important to acknowledge the uncertainty, the ambiguity that still surrounds all of these concepts. We don't have all the answers, and we may never have all the answers. This video, this exploration, is not about providing definitive proof or absolute certainty. It's about opening our minds to new possibilities, expanding our perspectives, and empowering ourselves to navigate a world that is far more complex and mysterious than we ever imagined. Uncertainty, then, is not something to fear, but something to embrace, a source of creativity, innovation, and growth. So, let us move forward with curiosity and excitement, rather than fear and trepidation. And let us never forget the value of personal experience, the importance of exploring these concepts through our own direct encounters with the world. Direct experience is the best teacher. So, here's one final task for you. Spend some time this week, maybe even start tonight, reflecting on your beliefs about time and reality. How do these beliefs shape your life? How do they influence your decisions, your relationships, your sense of purpose? Keep journaling, keep meditating, keep questioning. Because the more you explore these questions, the closer you'll get to unlocking the secrets of reality and creating the life you truly desire. Release that built-up tension and be proactive about your beliefs. It's time to find the path to your potential. And this is only the beginning. What is consciousness, really? And how does it relate to time and reality? Could consciousness itself be the fundamental building block of the universe? What other ancient prophecies might hold clues relevant to our current times? And how can we use technology not to escape reality, but to explore its deepest mysteries? This is just the beginning of a long and fascinating journey, a quest to understand the nature of existence itself. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. What resonated with you? What questions do you still have? What synchronicities have you noticed in your own life? Let's create a community of explorers, a collective of conscious creators. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on future explorations of these topics, be sure to subscribe to the channel. The more that you are engaged, the more we can all grow together.